everybody, this is Brianna Vesely, and you're listening to the Blush and Burn podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blush and Burn podcast. I'm Laura ANiie.
And I'm Annie Baxter.
I think she forgets her lines. And today we are here with an amazing guest interview, Miss Brianna Vesely. I am so excited to have you here today.
I'm excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
I came across you and like this event that you're putting on. I don't even remember how long ago it was. I actually think it was towards the very beginning when you started posting about it. And I was so excited. But I know I'm getting ahead of myself because we have so many other things to talk about too. And I want to start with all of our mutual loves of reading, because obviously none of us would be here without our love of books. So
Sure.
What originally got you into reading?
You can see mine in the background today.
I know. I was thinking about going into my library today, and I'm just like, that's a mess too, because I have like all the event stuff that I've been ordering is just like piled up.
Oh my God, I can only imagine.
So
Yeah.
it's a mess. But so when I was younger, I was a huge reader. I think that is pretty standard for a lot of us. I kind of fell out of it in my party years, as we do. And then I honestly think it was COVID that got me back into it, just because, you know, there wasn't anything else to do. And I'm like, you know what? I used to like to read a lot. Maybe I should do that again.
So what got you into it? What book was it that you picked up and you were like, this?
Yeah. What's your book that you're like, this was it for me that started that like reading love?
So I would say Stardust.
Ooh,
I really liked that like whimsy fairy tale style. And then, you know, obviously getting into the more like romantic-y, it was ACOTAR, like everybody else. But I think my initial like little step into fantasy was Stardust.
Sounds like an amazing
that
book.
ACOTAR, man, it's just a classic. It's like,
It gets, yeah.
It's just like,
It does.
I mean, it's been around. Well, I mean, I started with Throne of Glass, but because that came out first, and I'm probably a little bit older, so I kind of started following that Throne of Glass train. But it's just so classic, like,
Yeah,
it's just so easy to jump into, and the fan base is so welcoming that it's kind of easy to just be a part of that ACOTAR Throne of Glass, you know, group of people.
Oh,
I
they're
think
easy
that's
to
one that
follow,
really
too.
like skyrocketed me into just the community that we have now.
Which is a great community. The bookish
Amazing.
community is wonderful, but also like I think that I'm chaos and sometimes can become unhinged. But sometimes the bookish community, like all of a sudden you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
left field.
Like what?
What is happening?
Yeah, they take off on something and it's just like, it's just chaos.
Way chaos. And I love it though. I love being a part of this community where reading is so subjective and we can all read what we want to read, but then we all come together on like a specific book or something that just like we really gravitated towards. And that's normally like what got us back into reading.
Yeah.
So I love that.
I will admit that I didn't read a lot until I was probably about 18, and I picked up
I hated reading in school.
Oh yeah, please.
Oh, school books? No, I never read those.
Yeah.
I read what I wanted to read.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember, I think I read a book called The Pen with Curse, which, I mean, it was by Catherine Coulter, and it's about this like castle, and this girl goes to this castle. It was like total Regency, like, and it was spicy. And it was like the very first, like, I would say like spicy book. And I was like, there's books like this? Whoa. It like changed my life. I was like, I had no idea that I could like actually read this. And yeah, it set me on a different trajectory. You know, it wasn't just
Real
like,
quick.
Yeah, real quick. So I get the Throne of Glass and like ACOTAR. It kind of has like Throne of Glass and ACOTAR vibes for sure. So
Okay.
I don't know. Those Regencies, they my younger days, they got me.
They were good though. Like that was like the time was those Regency like
Well,
historical
yeah, it was like a
fiction
classic
novels.
bodice ripper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you saw him like sitting in like your grandma's house or something, and you're like, what the heck is this? But there's a bookstore that's close by, and they have a basement, and you can go into the basement, and it's just all full of like old westerns. But if you keep going back farther, you find the bodice rippers, and it's like all
They're
these like
everywhere.
crazy romances with like these crazy covers, and you're just like, whoa. It's like it's so much fun to go through and read the backs of them. It's like, oh my gosh,
I want to
this
go to
is
this
crazy.
Well, then you need to.
Fun. It's really cool.
We will take you.
I know you need to come to Salt Lake for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
We're not
So
that
okay,
far.
the event that you're doing is in Mesa, Arizona. Is that where you're from?
That's where I live. I was
Okay,
originally born in
okay.
California, but when people ask me where I'm from, I'm like, I don't know. But I've been here long enough, so yeah. We are doing Mesa this time though.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's always going to be here in Arizona. My goal is to bring it to different communities because I get a lot of comments and like people like, oh man, I wish I could go. Like it's so far away. And I see that about a lot of different like book events is they're like, oh, nothing ever comes to my city
Oh,
or there's nothing anywhere close to me. And so my goal is to do like, I want to say like 2 a year and switch it around the country so that people can all experience it.
I love this idea. Actually,
I do too.
We're in Salt Lake,
But I
and
really
we
like
get
that there's
too.
one out west.
Exactly.
They're never over here.
Yep.
Mhm.
Ever.
Yep. They're always on the East Coast
crazy.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Always. Or like there's been a lot in like Kansas City recently that have been popping
Yeah.
up and I'm like, that's not Utah.
I know.
That's
That's not in the
Utah.
West.
That's very far from Utah.
That's very far.
Yeah, but don't you kind of feel like, and I don't know if this is like on the East Coast, but don't you kind of feel like sometimes, like in Utah, it's kind of like when I think it's in Arizona, that's actually close enough to me where I'm kind of like, oh, maybe that's possible. Or like California or Colorado, like kind of like the surrounding states. I'm kind of like, well, I mean, I can get there in a day. So like if I drove or flying is like only like a couple hour flight. Like it's like, it just seems possible to me. So sometimes if it's just out west, it's like, yeah, that's doable. You know, that's totally doable. But things are a
That's
little
where
more
I
spread out
advertise
here too.
Yeah. I advertise like in all those surrounding areas because I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, if I could get there in a day drive, like I'm gonna do it.
Exactly. It's not a problem.
Yeah. So looking at where we're gonna go next, I'm looking at like how close is it to other states? How long does it take for everyone to get to this central
Smart.
location?
Smart.
That's awesome.
6-hour drive, knock that
That's
down
easy.
in like nothing.
Easy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's like nothing. So
I agree.
yeah.
But so you got back into reading. I'm curious about this timeline and like trajectory of things because we all start reading and then we get into this facet of like, well, I love reading, so I can talk about books. And then we jump into the podcast side of things. And you have now been podcasting for how long?
Just over a year, although I did take a little break over the holidays last year. So, we'll say about a year.
Yeah. I think we all deserve a break as podcasters. Yeah. We all deserve that break.
I know.
As long as we come back.
Right. Because what happened was I was doing like a book of the month where like I would split up the book throughout the weeks. And that started to make reading feel really drab to me, like it was like homework.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I took a break. I kind of reformatted the way I was doing the podcast. And I took out the book of the month because I was starting to hate reading again. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I had to cut it out. So that was what that break was getting back into reading and kind of reformatting into a different type of, I mean, I still do the author interviews, but now it's more like book news.
I love that though, because Annie and I have talked about the idea of doing like the deep dives and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And while we do that kind of stuff with our book club, there are times where I'm like, this is feeling like a chore.
Yeah.
And it feels like
it just
I'm
starts to
just
feel
crossing
forced,
something
and
off a
you're like,
list.
I'm not enjoying this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, I did it for like, I want to say like 9-10 months. And I was like, I'm hating this.
Yeah. We started
Well,
with
yeah,
the Harry
it's
Potter
just
series because we had a lot of people that wanted to read it in our book club. So we started there. And then a bunch of people dropped off and we're like, that's fine. Like, it's not the time. It's not really like the vibe sometimes either. And that's when Annie and I were like, maybe we don't do the deep dives to the same extent that we were. And then just kind of like making the shift. You know what I mean? So I'm right there with you. We actually have gotten to a point where sometimes it's like, where are you at?
I actually get bored really fast. So I think that's probably my biggest issue is like, I just get bored. Like I like sticking on one book and then deep diving it is just, it's really hard for me because like, I'm like, I want to read it and there's just so many that it's like, I'm so excited to read this one. But I'm so excited to read the next one too. So I just want to keep going, and being stuck on one sometimes is, it's a little bit harder because there's just so much out there to read. Like, I'm sure you're like everybody else where your TBR is like never ending
to the moon and back.
It's like your best friend's reading this book. You're like, I have FOMO now and I'm pausing this one that I'm reading and I'm going to move to the one that you're reading because it's like, there's like 10 like half read books because I'm just guilty of that. Like that reading with another person and like vibing with it, right? Like that's the best part where you're like, we're reading the same thing and we're all getting this, and everyone has a different thought, which is why book club is so much fun because it's like you read a chapter, everybody heard something different, and I think I went off on a tangent.
My ideal would have like my friends just like reading at the exact same time as me and then we react in live time. That's my ideal situation.
I love that though. Like, so Annie and I have discussed like how a deep dive would work for us. Yeah. How that would work for us because we love the idea. We love the concept, but like, again, we get bored and we really struggle with it. Yeah. So we decided that we're going to read the book and we'll do like one really long episode about it.
Yeah.
And then it's wrapped up.
Then you're done.
Because if you go too crazy, it's overwhelming for us. And we've decided to do Jay Kristoff's Nevernight for September.
Ooh, okay.
I'm pumped about that, actually.
If you'd like to come and join us.
So
I haven't read that one yet, so.
It stares at us from our bookshelves.
Series is like so cool. Like the covers are amazing. Like to not say like a book or a cover does not sell a book is like total bullshit.
Wrong.
Like total BS. Like your cover sells your book like all day long. Oh look, Laura has it right there. I mean, come on. That thing
she's an assassin, man.
Amazing.
Oh,
also, you tell us that there's an assassin in a book, and then all of a sudden we're like,
I'm there.
We're assassin whores. It's fine.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so you started your podcast. You've been doing it for about a year. When did this whole like idea of like I can do an event? I literally that's all I can think of. Like what in someone's head is like, I think I can do this.
So for a long time pre-COVID, I was doing weddings. And
I've done that too.
I love doing the planning portion of it, but I hated working with brides. And ladies, I'm sorry, but y'all get crazy. You guys get
crazy.
And their mothers.
The mothers were worse by far. Like all the mothers hated me for some reason. I mean, look, I've got the tattoos, but I always dress professional. I wore a jacket, whatever. But mothers hated me. And here's the thing, because I don't take their shit. I'm like, I
mean,
know what I'm
you shouldn't
doing.
at that point.
Yeah. I'm like, look, you guys literally hired me to be here. I'll light the candles. Don't worry about the fucking candles.
Seriously, that's my job.
Oh my
That's my job. I'm here for that. I get it.
I think, yeah, the last wedding I did was like the worst mother I've ever had to deal with in my life. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. And then
And
COVID happened. Yeah, COVID happened, and I was like, you know what? This worked out. It was totally fine. Um, so moving on from that, um, I was missing like the planning portion of it. I was missing like, doing like these grand events. But I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't want to go back into weddings. And then once I got into the community and like I learned that like the balls were a thing, and I was like, a ball's pretty cool, but I also really love Comic-Con. And so I was like,
Yeah.
how can I mash these together? Because I do have like an Etsy shop and I sell stuff at Comic-Cons a lot too. Um, but it was like I was looking around Comic-Con the last like when I first started planning this, and I was like, what is there here that I don't enjoy? Because I was looking around, I'm like, I don't recognize these cosplays anymore. I'm not watching a ton of TV. I'm like, I feel like I'm getting too old for this specific scene. And so I was like, I want a Comic Con that is just things that I want. And I was like, well, wait a second. Let's just put these two together. And I still don't know if I feel like I can do it. Sorry, my ear is like itching underneath my headset.
Oh, always.
Headphones are, yeah.
We know
I
the
feel
pain.
like every time I do something for this event, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening.
That's
It
the
doesn't
best
feel real yet.
part. That's the best part. Well,
Yeah.
I always thought with like kind of heading back to that wedding though, is it's like, I always felt like, because I planned weddings as well, like you would plan, and then you're just praying to God that on that day, everything you planned separately can come together cohesively, right? I mean, it's like you plan so many things separate, and you're just like, please, God, I just want them all to come together in one cohesive form, right? It's
Right.
like, and it's like magic when it does.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I was just the bystander that helped sometimes.
Yeah.
I drug my sister along too. She
Did
was
you?
my free assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Free assistant. That's
I
fantastic.
didn't do it often, but I was definitely one that Annie would be like, hey, I need this now.
Yeah.
Are you
sure.
available? I
For
need this
sure.
now. Are you available? And so I would be like her runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from the outside perspective, it looked so stressful because you're dealing with brides, because you're dealing with, then not only that, but like you said, like you're dealing with the moms, but you're also dealing with other family members who are coming to you being like, this is the problem. And you're like, actually,
okay.
it's not.
So, okay, that kind of makes me think like, who's okay? So you always have like the diva, right? When you're doing a wedding, like who have you found to be like maybe a little bit of the diva when you're like doing like some of this, like when you're trying to plan, you kind of have like that, they kind of give off that like that diva energy. Is it like the authors? Are you like vendors? Like who have you found kind of gives off that like, that diva
Honestly,
energy?
it's probably my husband. But that's only because I run everything past him. I'm like, here, look at this. And he's like, no, we can make this better. And I'm like, bruh. No, honestly, everyone has been so amazing and so chill and just really easy to work with. I've had a couple like attendees that have a lot of questions, but I love the questions. So I'm like, I don't look at that as like diva energy, only because if I'm not answering the questions or like if it's not in a really accessible place, like that's my fault. So
Yeah. Totally.
No,
Totally.
for sure.
But I think my husband and I are the hardest on this event out of everybody.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it.
That's just smart.
I think that's kind of like normal couple behavior though too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I think I would be the hardest person if we ever did something where I'd be like, well, we did a bookish retreat, And when we did that, it was like, I was so hard on us and myself.
Yeah, we only
about
had 14 people.
But
She's
we
going to
only
have
had
like
people.
thousands.
Oh God, I wanted to do a bookish retreat at first. That was my first go-to to plan before I did the full convention. And I really wanted to do like a Salem, Massachusetts thing,
That would have been
for like the
fun.
Halloween, and like we all go read witchy books and like do some witchy shit. But I don't remember why it didn't work out. I think a lot of people that were like, yeah, count me in, and then they all got busy, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it worked out because, here I would still love to do a retreat one day though.
They are fun. If I can suggest anything, it is a lot of fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely
and you make so many friends, and you kind of get to know people like on a little bit more of a deeper level, which is really cool.
Yeah. We had a lot of people say they enjoyed the bonding portion.
Oh yeah.
Of ours. But I loved it. And we only like put it out to our book club. So when you go farther out, it's very much more wide reaching. You have so much that you have coming into this event, which is so cool. You have quite the list of authors that are coming in. And like when you start making those phone calls, so you've decided that you're doing this event, you start making the email list, you start sending out all this stuff. How did that kind of like start going? And then what was like the big, whoa, this is like legit happening moment for you?
So it started with, I just like brought the idea to a couple author friends of mine that I had met through the community. And one of like my best friends who I'd met through doing interviews, she's an author, her name is Jessica Lee, but she, as soon as I was like, hey, here's my idea, she was like, yes, sign me up. And I was like, done. Okay, cool. And so after that, I was like, well, I know a lot of authors. Let me just reach out and see if there's an interest in this. And it was a really positive feedback. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like, this looks like it's going to work out. People are logging on, or like people are signing up. I mean, not logging on. I don't know where I got that. But
because we're online.
Yeah, exactly. So with everyone signing up, and like I was getting a really positive feedback about it, and like, yeah, we need something like this. Like, this is like really unique. I haven't seen this before, blah, blah, blah. And so I don't know, it just kind of like went from there. I think once I started getting like the featured authors specifically, so Beth Crowley, when I first emailed her, and she emailed me back and was like, yeah, can we get on a Zoom meeting? And I was like, okay. And so I like am sitting here talking to this girl that I listened to her music, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, it literally just took an email, and she was like, yeah, let's meet. And I was like, okay. And then she was instantly just like, yeah, I'm in. I think my biggest, well, that's not true anymore. After Pierce Brown, I'm like, that was unbelievable.
I mean,
which
come
we
on.
want to address
That's
that
like,
here, but
yeah.
I want to hear about the aha first.
That's like,
We'll get there.
that's like hands down, like God tier.
Yeah.
The moment that it really felt real to me was with Jacques the Whipper.
I saw that he was coming.
Oh.
With him, I always thought, I'm like, there's no way in hell he's going to come to like this little tiny thing in Arizona. And so I had gone to different circus performers before emailing him. And they were all like, oh, this is right in the middle of Ren season. Like, we're all booked out, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, frick, what am I going to do? And so I was like, you know what? The worst he's going to say is, no, I can't. Or he'll ignore me. I'm like, whatever. Either way, I'm not expecting, much. So I emailed him.
This attitude.
Yeah, I emailed him, and he immediately
I love it.
Like,
love it.
Yeah. He's like, I'm available. Here's my agent. And I was like, okay,
Even
cool.
better.
So I worked with his agent. We got the contract signed. And then I actually met him in person at New York Comic Con back in October. And I saw that he was there, and so I messaged him on Instagram. And I'm like, again, he's not going to check his Instagram DMs. That's stupid. Yeah, shoot your shot, exactly. And so I'm like, hey, I'm also at New York Comic Con. Do you want to meet up and make a video? And so he was like, yeah, where are you? And I was like, what is happening right now? So we met up in New York and we made the little like
Cool.
guest reveal video that I have. Like it's
Yeah.
not the greatest quality because I wasn't planning it. I just did it on my phone. But I think like once I realized how I don't want to say easy it is to get a hold of authors and like, famous people, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think that's when I'm like, okay, like this is a thing.
This is happening.
Well, I
Yeah.
think they want to get out there, right? Like these authors want to get out there just as much as you want your event to be seen. So
Mhm.
they want to be out there and they want to be part of that book talk community because that's, and even the Instagram community, because that's what keeps everything like moving and going. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love Jack Ann's comment, shoot your shot. I think it's I
Yeah.
think it's just truth.
Well, and I tell Annie all the time, you miss every shot you don't take. Like I will message an author and then I screenshot it. And I'd be like, well, see what happens from this one.
We'll see.
See what
Yeah.
happens from this one.
When she messaged you, I was like, "Oh my god! If she says yes, I am so excited because I just
Yeah,
was like,
for me.
this is gonna be fun because it's like you get to talk about all the same things that you love and I like making new friends, so I think it's like I was like, yes,
No,
if she says yes, like I am there for it.
Yes.
I was so excited because I'm usually the one doing the interviews. And so I'm like, ooh, this is
Yeah.
going to be kind of different. This is going to be new. No, but I'm like, I'm still shocked that when I go out to like bookish events, people do recognize me. And like, it's weird. And I'm like, yeah, like I know I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm a big name or whatever. Like that's not true. I'm literally nobody.
Yeah.
But the first time that it happened, I was like asking authors it was like a signing event. And I was like, hey, like I run a podcast. Would you be interested in getting interviewed? And she was like, oh my gosh, I've heard of this. And I was like, shut the fuck up. No, you haven't.
Like, no.
Okay.
I was talking to someone the other day and they did that to us. Who was I talking to? And they're like, oh, I've seen you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Or
drive
oh
me
no,
weird,
that's
right?
bad. I don't know. It could be.
I never know.
It could be either or.
It could be. And like I'm always just like, I hope it's good.
I hope it's good.
I hope someone
Right.
didn't just send you something and be like,
You can't be everyone's cup of tea though at the same
You
time.
can't.
Like it's just, I mean, some of that shit's just hit or miss a little bit. you
yeah.
know?
But at the same time,
someone's gonna hate you no matter what.
Oh, all day long. You just can't.
I'm okay with it now.
You gotta have a little thick skin a little bit and just be like,
Too
yeah,
old for that shit.
I know.
thank you. I know. We're not in middle school
Yeah.
anymore, ladies. It's fine.
No.
Yeah.
No, gotta move on.
We can like everyone. We don't have to be in a clique, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's true. So we did an interview with Shannon Mayer, and when we spoke to her, we talked to her about how it is important to just be yourself. And those are the people that will come to you. And when you're not being yourself, people can tell. So it detracts people. And I'm a big believer that like you should always put your best foot forward, but also put your authentic foot forward. And I think that you've done a really good job of that in the work that you've done and from what I have seen and what you post. And I think it's been fantastic to watch. And like, we're still a baby podcast here because like, we just hit double digits. Okay.
Yay!
We just hit the double digits.
I know.
So we're trying.
Thanks.
But I mean, it's fun though. You know what I mean? To find these people in the community and to go to these book events.
Well, that's what pushes you forward because it's actually fun.
Yeah. Yeah. What have been some of your favorite book events? Because so you said you went to the one that was in New York. What are some of your other favorite events?
Oh, that was just Comic-Con. But I've been to Romantasy. I like the Rave in Las Vegas.
Ooh, what is this?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
Rave in
that
Las
sounds
Vegas,
great.
it's like it's more for writers. They go and have like a full week long like retreat where they like have like writer workshops and everything. I've never been to that part of it, but at the end of the week they do like an author market. So all the authors that are there like set up and sell their books and they open it to the public. And so I really enjoyed that
Cool.
because a lot of them are more indie. Um, and it was really fun just meeting people there. Plus it's in Vegas, so you know, who doesn't want to go have fun in Vegas?
I mean, also at the same time, saying that an
Seriously.
event is called Rave in
Yeah.
Vegas.
It's like
Totally.
Readers
Totally.
Authors Vegas event or something like that. RAVE.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, but indie authors are the best because it's like
Amazing.
they're still humble, right? Like they're still humble,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like always those diamond in the roughs. And like that's the best part, right? Because you're just like, you're going to find like there's nothing better than finding that author that you get to join on their bandwagon at the very beginning, right? And you can always be like,
Mhm.
I was with them from the beginning. Like I read that first book and just knew, right? Like they were going to be
Right.
like something special. And I don't know if Jack Ann is still on, but she's one of those.
He's one of
for
our
me.
favorite indie
I just
people.
feel like she's just as fun. There's just cool finding a couple of those like indie authors that you know are just gonna like take it far. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And be there
Yeah.
at the beginning with them.
agreed. And then you shoot your shot at Pierce Brown.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're making posters saying that he's coming.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, but
How?
let's like,
I want to know how that went down.
yeah, I do too.
He is
So-
God tier for us.
He
Like,
is-
legit God tier for us. 5
Come
stars all the way. We've read the first 3 of Red Rising. We are waiting for Red
Yeah.
God before we continue on.
Everybody is.
I
dying.
can't do it. I can't start the second half until they're all done because I
Until
just
it's out.
know that I'm gonna just have feels about it and I need it all
I'm going
done.
to get left in a cliffhanger of
Well,
death.
Yeah.
What's hilarious is when I first announced him, I had a lot of people like messaging me and being like, "Why is he doing a signing? He needs to be writing." And I was
That's
like, "I'm
great.
so
You're
sorry."
pulling him out of the cave.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
but
They need breaks too.
yeah, exactly. So he is represented by the same people that I went through for Catherine Arden. And so after I had got Catherine Arden, I was, you know, trying to fill out like the featured author roster. And so I went back to my girl over there at Authors Unbound and I was like, "Hey, who else is available? Who else you got?" And she was like, "Well, we could always try." And she listed off a few, and Pierce Brown was one of them. And I was like, "There's no way in hell
Yeah.
I can get Pierce Brown."
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's never going to happen."
Yeah.
So I actually went for like a couple other authors first. And they were like, "Oh, like we would love to, but we're unavailable." And I was like, "You know what? Again, fuck it. Send
Totally.
it to Pierce."
Shoot the shot.
Yeah.
And he accepted. It took like 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks were
Oh.
agonizing.
I can just
I was-
imagine.
Yeah. And so I was like, "Dude, this is taking forever. It's going to be a no. Like, I know
Yeah.
it is." And I was
Yeah,
trying to like think like who else could I reach out to? And then she came back and she was like, "Good news." He said yes. And I was like, "What?" And again, it was like that moment where I was just like, "This is unreal. Like, how did we get here?"
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, because you know
Absolutely.
he has to be asked to go to multiple places, right? Like you know that that's like got to be a thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
but it's really cool because he chose you.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why me out of all the, I'm sure, offers that he has, but here we are.
You give off a really good vibe.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
think
you
you
do.
have a really
You
good
do.
vibe.
You do. You do.
Oh,
You do.
thank you.
But you're also
I'm
like,
gonna throw a couple more authors out there if I can.
okay, go.
Look, Laura. Sorry, I overtalked you, Laura. I'm still excited about other authors.
It's okay. It's okay. Keep going.
Okay, fine. Okay. I'm gonna name a couple off that I'm really excited about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One is Kristen Cast because
Amazing.
okay, when I'm younger, obviously I read the House of Night series,
House of Night,
right?
Marry Me.
And that was like, oh my god, it's like these perfect dark witchy vibes for teenagers.
Mhm.
That it's like, I did reread it as an adult. It doesn't. It's you recognize why you liked it, and you know that it was like a gateway drug, right? You're like, okay,
Oh,
this is
absolutely.
gateway to I know what I like, right? And then as she's gotten older, she started writing some of her own stuff because she used to write with her mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's been able to continue those same kind of like vibes. So I'm really excited about Kristen Cast. Maybe
She's
another
incredible
one.
too. I just met her in Seattle,
Did you?
and yeah, because she was at Emerald City, and I still go to all the Comic Cons because I still have like my booth. But so she was in Emerald City, and so I met up with her, and I was like, "Hey, like I'm Brie from Tea Tropes." She's like, "Oh my God, it's so nice to meet you." And so like we sat and talked for probably like 10-15 minutes,
Cool.
Oh,
which was
I love it.
amazing. But she's so sweet, and I'm so excited that she's coming.
Demi Winters, we had her on last week. She talked about Emerald City and she said she had a great time.
Oh yeah,
She said it was fantastic. She really,
it
really
it, it
enjoyed
was
being there.
fun.
Yeah, she really enjoyed being there. Here's another one. Adeline Grace.
Hmm.
Oh, we love Adeline Grace. We
I'm so
love
excited for
Adeline
her.
Grace.
I have like
She's a
everything I
sweetheart
have
too.
of hers is signed, and I just think she has like this youthfulness to her, and
Hmm.
like her writing style is really it's kind of like lyrical a little bit. Like it kind of has like she has like a cadence to her, and I really, really, really love her writing.
Yeah.
So those are two of my like I'm gonna do whatever I can to just at least see
What?
them and get some of my stuff signed because I'm just pumped about that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Are there
they're
any others that you're really excited about
me. Those were my
besides
main
Pierce
ones.
Brown?
Those were my
What?
main
Oh,
people.
sorry. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
fine.
sorry. I stole them. I stole them from
It's
you.
fine. I'm just still excited. Like I'm happy that they're gonna be there, and I'm happy that
Totally.
you're also excited about them, so that we can go find them. Since we'll
Well, I
probably
have
be
a
glued to the
whole
hip.
list of authors that I don't know who they are. Like, so I've like obviously like I am probably a creeper, whatever, but I've like stalked like your whole Instagram, and I've had like a whole list of all these authors that I don't know who they are, so that I can like research if it's somebody that I would like because there's just so many. How many do you have? Do you know that?
So I've lost count, but for the indie authors alone, it's over 120.
Oh my god.
I think we're at. I'm trying. Oh, so I'm a spreadsheet person. So I'm like, what number? I want to say it's like 160 something of authors and vendors.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So I'm like trying to think of my list. Yeah, I think we're in like the 160 something, 170 something. Yeah.
This
So
is crazy.
this is insane. With the way that you have this set up, then with this many authors and this many vendors and type of a situation, what, let's say I'm coming and I walk through the door. What should be expected for people as they walk through the door? Because you wanted
Good
this to be
question.
kind of like a Comic-Con event that is more geared towards book and authors. So what are we looking at as far as layout, and what is like, is there a signing scheduled, or is that based off of each author? Kind of walk us through what that's going to look like for attendees.
Of course. So, um, visually, as soon as you walk in, we're going to have the registration desk, and that's where you'll get your badges and like your attendee gifts. So, anyone underneath the VIP will get like a tote bag to carry their books in because, I
Yeah.
need it, so I'm going to give
Yeah.
it. And there
Wagon
will be a couple
checkouts.
things like in there. Yeah, I'll have like bookmarks. It's not going to be anything like too big just because, it's just the standard welcome gift. VIPs will have a full swag bag though, and I've been putting those together. I'm really excited about the VIP bag. So if you're not a
Cool.
VIP, upgrade. But
Noted.
so
Yeah.
you'll get your badge, and then if you go to the right, because it's in two different buildings, but they're connected by like a super long hallway.
Okay.
So on the right you'll have the main hall, and that's where most of the indie authors are going to be, and then we'll have a couple vendors in there as well. And then if you go behind the registration desk down the hallway, the entire hallway. I'm like pointing like you guys know like the layout.
Don't worry.
Listen,
I'm
we're
doing it in my
talkers
brain.
too.
We're fine.
We're hand talkers. We're like, and
Yeah, I know.
then
I'm like, put your hands down, Annie. You don't need so much action. Put your hands in your lap. Sit on your
Same
hands.
thing. So as you go down the hallway's going to be lined with authors as well. And
Cool.
then you go into the other building, and that's where we're going to have our featured authors do their signings. And they will be timed signings. I'm working with them currently to get that schedule. It's a lot that goes into doing this, but those schedules will be released. So all those authors are going to be in I call it the B hall because it's building B. I know, super unique. But and then in that B hall, we'll have a couple more vendors. We'll have like a crafting station. We'll have tattoos. And yeah, and then there's in between those two, there's going to be like the panel rooms, and that's where you can like get together
Cool.
and for like all those different panels. And then we also have a theater. And that's where we're going to put like our bigger panels, our costume contest, our fashion show. It's a theater with a full stage.
Way cool.
Oh, this venue sounds cool. Is it in
Yeah,
a
it
convention
does.
center?
Yeah, it is a convention center, but it's not like visually like it looks like a convention center. There's nothing like super pretty about it. I see some of these venues are like, you know, columns and like just these like beautiful ornate work. I'm like, this is a basic convention center. But it fit
Mhm.
what I needed space wise. And for a first event, I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, this is good.
Yeah.
Well, did
No,
it
I love
grow
it.
where you like, oh, we just need this much space, and then you're like, actually, we need this much. Oh, actually, we need, or did you already kind of assume you're like, I'm probably gonna need this whole space, or does it just kind
Uh-huh.
of like grow?
So we have more than just those two buildings. That's just the marketplace. So for the Friday night fair, we're actually outside the main building, and we're gonna have like that's gonna be all gated off for the private event, and then that's where we're gonna have like Jacques the Whipper bleh, and Beth Crowley, and then we'll have like henna tattoos, and we'll have like tarot readers, and we'll have I'm working on like caricatures, just fun things to do
Fun.
and like games. My father-in-law is building me this beautiful like wooden game board. Like it's like 10 feet tall. It's insane.
Cool.
But it's so that's all going to be there, and I call that like the mini Ren Fair. And then our ball is actually going to be in the detached building that's like across the parking lot. And so I'm like, we have a lot of space here. But when I first started looking, I had originally went to like hotels, and I was like, hey, here's how many people I want to be able to host. And it was actually really challenging at the beginning because I feel like a lot of people weren't taking me seriously. I literally had one girl tell me, oh, this is pretty ambitious for a first event. Maybe you should try like bringing it down to about 400 people. And I was like, I don't like your negativity.
You can take your negativity and shut.
Yeah. And so
Watch me prove you wrong. I feel like that's a competition statement,
yeah.
right?
There is
Where like
right.
all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
and then you get
Actually.
Pierce Brown to sign up, and you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
But when I was looking at like venues when I first started, I found a lot of the hotels were like, oh, we can hold up to 800. And I'm like, okay, well, after I get all the authors, that's like 500 people. Like, that's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's not worth it for the authors. It's not, they're not going to make their money back. It won't. And my whole thing is I want the authors and the vendors to be successful. Even if I
Absolutely.
don't take anything
for
away
sure.
from this, I want the authors and vendors to make it worth their time.
Yeah.
Because it
Well,
wouldn't
yeah, because they're gonna spend a
exist
whole
without them.
weekend there.
Yeah. We have a lot of people traveling,
Yeah.
and that's my main goal is just make sure that they have a good event and then I get a second take. I just don't want to lose money on it, obviously, but
well, yeah. See, that's how Annie and I are.
I get
We're
it.
like the big fans of just breaking even.
right. If I could break even, plan the next
I don't
one,
mind it.
we're good.
I like that. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
for your first one too, because you're kind of like, look, like you're like I always feel like the first one's like that learning curve a little bit, and then
Mhm.
it's like your second one, you're like, okay, like now you get to take everything that you learned, and then you just get to make it better, and like that's kind of the name of the game for the
Yeah.
most
And
part,
I've learned
you
a
know?
lot.
You just
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
oh seriously.
There's no way you
I
could
kinda
like
wanna
walk
know-
away from this and just be like, no,
Yeah, I'm good.
nah, okay.
What's next?
What's next?
So Does that mean you already have dates for the next one?
No.
Did you
But
already
I
have
do
dates
have a
for the?
location
Okay,
in
I'm
mind.
like, are you like ready? Are you like, you're planning
Are you
number
Easter
two
egging
already?
us?
Yeah. So
Although
I
I'm
am
not
planning number
doubting
two.
that about you because I can see you, and I'm like, she's already got this cooking.
I do. So I know the theme that we're gonna do. I can tell you
Cool.
guys. Okay, so I chose enemies and lovers as like the theme of this one because with like tea and tropes, I wanted them to be different tropes for each one. And so we started
Cool.
with the enemies to lovers. I had somebody tell me like, oh, if you change it to enemies and lovers, it just sounds a little better, it flows a little better, and it opens it up to like a broader audience. And I was like, you know what, we'll
True.
give it a shot, but whatever. That's minimal in my eyes. But
Totally.
so my idea was to keep the tropes as the main themes and then base the evening events off of those.
Cool.
And so the next one we're doing Forbidden Love.
Ooh.
And I want to do like a Hades and Persephone theme.
Ooh.
So I have an idea for the fair already. I have an idea for the ball.
Love that.
And because I want to do like this Hades and Persephone theme, I've been looking at venues that give off like ancient Greek energy.
Yeah.
And in Nashville, there is a full-scale replica of the Parthenon
Are you
that does
serious?
weddings
Gosh.
and events. And
I
so I'm like,
know
I don't
that.
know. I
That's
think we
amazing.
go to Nashville next
But that'd be perfect
for
though,
the
because you're like
vibes.
here, and
Yeah.
then now you're gonna do
Yeah.
one. It seems like it gets probably even a little crazy because like you that also means like you're traveling there too, right? Where you're
hmm
like, okay, it's all planning, and then you actually have to travel
I
back
mean,
and
for the
forth.
most part, yeah, for the most part, I haven't really had to be on site very much. I've been doing everything from home,
Nice.
which is amazing. Obviously, it helps being in the city because you could go to like the bookstores and like I've been sneaking bookmarks into books at like Barnes and Noble and Target, and I feel like I'm like
You
doing something
sneaky
illegal.
girl.
But I'll go and I'll
I
just like
love this.
yeah, for like people who are going to be coming. So like in Pierce Brown books or Adeline Grace books, Kristen Cass, I go and put everything, like put bookmarks in their books. So if people buy the book, obviously, they're a fan of the author, come meet them.
I love this idea
Yeah.
a lot.
I do too.
Barnes and Noble, don't catch on.
Yeah.
Please
Get out
no.
of here.
Please no.
Well, it's not like you're gonna. It's like you go out to your car and you're like, "What is that on my windshield?" And like someone's
Right.
like tucked little things like into your windshield. You're like, "You need this and you need this."
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be a
I
little bit
haven't
more
done
like
that.
accepted at Barnes and Noble, though. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
somebody put that in my window at Barnes and Noble, I'd be like, oh,
Yeah, but it's
Right.
hard to like. It's like hard to market. It's like you're just marketing online. It's like, I mean, it's not
hmm
hard, but it's like it does probably take up a good chunk of your time, right? Like what?
oh
It
yeah.
Well,
does.
let's ask what that's about. Like, what is that like? Actually, like being like, how do you market this?
So I suck at social media. Absolutely suck at it. um,
Me too.
especially TikTok. I spend like almost no time on TikTok. And so marketing was like a big learning curve for me. I would say that was probably my biggest learning curve. I was going like old school route, like looking into like radio ads and billboards, and I didn't do either of those. But what I did end up doing was I partnered with the Renaissance Festival that we have here in Arizona, and they
Oh,
allowed me to stand outside of their fair and hand out flyers. And I think that was the biggest marketing push that we've had. We're doing it again this weekend, but our biggest marketing push because I had flyers printed and I was targeting people with them. I wasn't just handing them out to everybody. I was like, hey, do you like fantasy books? And if they showed any interest at all, I was like, have a flyer. Um, I had originally printed 2,000 flyers, and I'm like, oh, that'll last me 3 weekends. Like, there's no way I'm going to go through 2,000 in 3 weekends. I went through 2,000 in the
yeah, yeah,
first weekend.
Yeah.
So then I ordered 5,000 more, went through that in the second weekend. So I have to order more flyers for this weekend.
That's
yeah.
insane.
Wow,
So yeah,
wow.
I'm like it's crazy. But I think that was my biggest marketing push. Um, I have run ads on
Do you
like
think
Instagram and TikTok, but
like
yeah.
I think like the Renaissance Fair is kind of cool too because it's like I feel like after COVID, a lot of people really wanted to just get out and do things too. Like they
Hmm.
actually wanted to like go and do things again. And it was like it felt like it got taken away from us and then we were like slowly getting like back into things and like sometimes we
Yeah.
still are, right? Like
Yeah.
we want to go out and like do things like the Renaissance Fair and like fun conventions and it's like I don't want to go to the home show every weekend, you know? Like give me something like fun to
Yeah.
like go do on the weekend that's like,
Hmm.
you know, that's something that I enjoy, which is why I've said this before about Comic-Con. There's you can go to like convention centers and go to all different kinds of like shows. Like I said, the home show or like, you know, like the I don't know what all the boat shows, whatever, all those shows. And
Yeah.
it's like people are like people go, but like people are kind of cranky. But when people go to Comic Cons, they're different and they want to be there. And I
Yeah.
feel like, and they're kind and everyone is like joking around and like you meet friends and like that's like the whole point of these, right? Where it's like you are all there because you literally have a love for these romance. I mean, honestly, it's just like
Yeah.
romance novels. Like we all
Hmm.
have um like this love and it's just really fun to like share it with everybody.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that a big part of it too,
I
though, like
love
when we
Comic
refer
Cons.
back, to COVID as a whole, you took away that interaction of people. And I think that actually made the bookish community stronger when we were able to start getting back together. And
I
we
do
found
too.
the community online that now we're starting to get back into public and doing things that we miss. And I think that this is the best way to do that is to have these
Hmm.
kinds of events that just kind of like spur that on.
Yeah.
So with yours specifically then, as you are going through this beautiful transition into this event, I don't even know any other words to call this because just like watching it, I'm like so excited. Like I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
But as you're like going through this, are there certain things that you thought were going to be like really big hurdles that weren't and things that you didn't think were going to be a big hurdle and then became that way?
Um, so something that wasn't a hurdle that I thought would be was how getting a hold of authors.
Yeah.
It's insanely easy to like send off an email like what I sent saying like, "Hey, I have this event. I want your author to come sign." Insanely easy to get responses, which I thought that would be my biggest problem was like, how am I going to get a hold of these people? Um, but it just took a little bit of research and I, had a copy and paste email. I just filled out their name and like, I know that might be a little lazy, but when you're emailing, 800 authors.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mass emailing.
Yeah. So that was surprisingly easy. Just like with, Beth and Jack and just getting like everybody together. I was shocked at like just how quick they were to reply. Even the authors that have said like, no, I'm unavailable, but please let me know about the next one. I'd love to attend. Just getting those responses back from them, I was surprised at, oh, I just got an email from the author themselves. And I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
um, I feel like they're like
Because they kind of feel
celebrities in a
untouchable a little
way.
bit though. They feel like untouchable a little bit and you
Yeah.
realize like, oh no, they're not. A lot of them are taking care of themselves actually. Like a lot of them are actually like coordinating themselves or they have a PA and I mean, we found this where like you have one PA and that PA is actually helping like
Multiple
2 to 4
authors.
other authors, right? And so it's
Yeah.
like that PA is like you're like, oh, awesome. They actually have connections to 2 other authors that you didn't even know about, and you're like, this is fantastic.
Right. And I mean that helped me for Pierce, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so that was I think what surprised me the most. What I'm kind of struggling with right now is decor. And not that like that's necessarily hard. It's because I have this vision in my head that I want to make reality so badly. And I'm like having trouble like finding the right pieces. And maybe that's just me being a little too hard on myself. And I'm like, no, it has to be perfect. But that's my struggle at the moment, is just making everything come from up here into, the space.
I feel like weddings kind of do that to you, though, in a way of like building that perfectionism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's like the standard I'm holding myself to, is like, oh, weddings had to be perfect. This has to be perfect. I don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to give in to less, for lack of better phrasing, because my brain's not working right now. That's my goal right now. But with Joann's closing, I'm going on a Joann's shopping spree.
I have too, actually.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I come home and I'm like, I need that, and I need that, and I need that.
Start pulling everything off the shelves.
All of it.
Yeah, but it's also like, I mean, it's like, what's hard is like in your head, it's like probably costs 10 times more than what you're like, okay, well, we aren't going to make this, like, we're not doing like $1 million wedding, right? Like, we're not doing $1 million event. Like, we need to like, it's like you have to pick and choose like which areas and spaces are going to be like the most important, right? And it's like where to actually put like the most time and effort and money, and I mean especially just energy, because it sounds like there's just so many different facets. Do you have like a team of people that are helping you with this? Like, what? I'm like, she's got to have like a group of people helping her with this.
So my husband does help me a lot, on the back end. He gives me my second looks. He actually surprisingly has a lot of like amazing ideas for somebody that he doesn't like to read. I did get him to listen to the ACOTAR graphic audio though. That was a fun time. But he's very technical, but he surprisingly had a lot of like really amazing creative ideas. And I'm like, where did you pull this from?
Cool.
This is weird. But so I do have him on the back end. I do have a lot of like authors and vendor friends that are, spreading the word, and like they always share everything. But when it comes to like logistics, it's just me.
You're crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, I know.
That's a lot. That's a huge undertaking for one.
You're crazy.
I'm starting to feel the stress of it now, just because as we're getting closer, we're less than 2 months away. And I'm like, oh, I have so much I have to do. And I do have some friends locally who are like, oh, if you need help, like packing the bags or, like making anything like decor wise, like please let us know. We'll come over and we'll help. And so I am really grateful for that support system. But when it comes to all the emails and the website and the sales and just everything, it's a lonely world.
It's okay.
It's kind of hard to pass it off.
We just know your type of crazy now. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. I resonate with this a lot, because there's also a part of you sometimes that's like, it's hard to pass that off, because then there's this mental checklist of, okay, well, did it get accomplished? Did it get accomplished? Did it get accomplished? Instead of just knowing it got accomplished because you handled it.
Right.
That's where it comes from me. Annie knows this.
Me too.
Because I'm the one that reaches out to people most of the time, but she's reached out to a couple of people as well. But when I'm emailing people, I'm like, well, like, again, you miss every shot you don't take. So I'm just messaging people all the time. And then I'm like, I always feel like it's a lot, but then at the same time, it's not. It's a weird stress.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. Like I said, I thrive on the chaos. So
yeah,
I'm managing. Like I don't feel overwhelmed yet.
Yeah. You got another month to go.
There's still a lot that needs to get done. And like, I feel like there's a lot of things that I can't do until we get a little closer anyway, but I just started working on like the programs. I am finishing up designing the badges right now so I can get those ordered. But that's another thing that like, I wasn't expecting going into this is how much stuff I had to design myself. So I am a proud owner of a Canva subscription.
Yeah,
We
seriously.
love Canva.
It's so worth it,
Love
guys.
it.
If you
Yeah,
don't have
it
Canva
is.
Pro.
I
It's
know,
worth
you're
every penny.
like, you go, is it worth it? And then you get it and you're like, oh yeah, it's worth it.
That was worth it.
It's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not that much when you're really considering
No.
the grand scheme of things. You're like, no, this is fine.
I put it off for
amazing.
the longest time. I was like, I don't need Pro because I'm cheap. I like to save money. I'm balling on a budget, you know.
Yeah.
But as soon as I pulled the trigger, I was like, dang, I wish I did this sooner.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
But
we did that with our podcasting software a little
we
bit.
did
It's
that
like you
too.
wait, and then you're like, no, man, we need the Pro. Like, just do it. And all of a sudden, your world opened up, and you're like, oh, that was worth it.
Nice.
Oh, that was worth it.
I still call
it audacity.
I still call Annie all the time. And like yesterday, I legit called Annie yesterday being like, I just want you to know, I really am happy that we did what we did. And that we went through this way. Because it is worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Every penny.
Yeah.
It's nice to get those little like validation checks too. Being like,
right.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I also have another friend who her day job is graphic design.
Oh,
and she does advertisements for like medical stuff. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's all like medicine, like the commercials that you see for like, you know, medications, like she's worked on that stuff. And so she's actually done some of the artwork that we're going to have on our merch. And so I like having her as someone that I could like, I'll make everything, I'll send it off to her and be like, hey, give me your graphic designer opinion. And she'll tell me like, oh, like change this one little thing or like just move this here. But like, you know, she's been a huge help as well with the graphics part of everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to have friends.
It is. It's get your circle.
No, you do. We have a sister-in-law who does graphic design too, and we're kind of like, okay, like, we need a little help with a couple of things. So it's just nice to have those few people who will help you because that stuff can get pricey.
Right?
Yeah, it can. But
especially if they're good at what they do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. But it's nice that you have your husband there that you can use as kind of like a soundboard or that's able to do that for you to help in that department. Annie has been my biggest soundboard, even when it doesn't come to podcasting or work or anything like that. I'm like, Annie, Annie,
you're welcome.
Help me. Losing my mind.
Right.
I know.
But so I did just put a thing into the chat for people to submit some questions for Q&A. Now is your time. I already have a couple that I have set up that I want to ask, but I'm going to wait just a moment in case anybody wants to submit in their questions. Oh, I hit a button on my mouse. Don't do that. It asked if I wanted to leave. I went, no,
Laura.
No, I don't want to do that. Abort that mission. No. No. So one of the questions that I like to ask is, what is one thing when you are either being interviewed or doing the interviewing, what is one question that you wish that you would be asked? And what's one question that you always want to be asked?
I love this because I'm so curious. Like I always feel like you end up like talking and you're like, oh, I didn't say this. And I really wanted people to know it.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys have had some really good questions. Okay, I will say I am not done announcing authors.
You haven't done that.
Okay.
That's a little piece of information that I could give you guys.
So you have some more juicy ones that we're going to be excited about?
Yeah, some more featured authors. I do still have some indie authors to announce as well. So I'm not done.
When will we hear these announcements?
once everything is just 100% solidified. So like
Gotcha.
I've gotten the yes, we're just going through like the logistics of like travel
Nip
and
tucking.
everything. Yeah. But
Gotcha.
once those are, once plane tickets are bought, I'm gonna release it.
That's exciting though.
Yeah.
I love
That's really
that.
cool. We are very excited. We're trying to work our arrangements out as well so that
I
we
know.
can be there,
Mhm.
and we're working our logistics out as well.
We have to
right
like
now.
nip.
Did you
it's
guys
family nip tuck
did you
it?
guys get your tickets?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because
Not yet.
we had to
we're
figure-
just solidifying that Laura can leave her children.
I
That's
know.
all. We're just trying to make sure that Laura can leave her children. I have big
Kids.
children who are like very capable of taking care of themselves. We're just trying to make sure Laura has people to help her, and
Lined
we
up.
are
I have to
there.
make sure they're lined up.
Kids.
I know. Seriously. Like, why are
We
you so
love them,
dependent?
but I know they need supervision.
They do
What?
need
That's
supervision.
weird. I didn't
I know.
have it. Look how I came out just fine.
I know. It's like,
See?
I'm
It's fine. My mom hardly knew where I was from the time I was,
Yeah.
well, that's not true. I was the oldest, so I always had to like make sure I knew where everybody else was.
It's true. Oh, it's
Yeah.
That
true.
was my job. That was my job.
Okay. First question that's come in on the Q&A is, what part of the event are you most excited for?
Okay, for me personally, it's
Yeah.
the evening events. I'm very excited just for like the shows and like the games and then just like the ball. I love getting dressed up. So I think that's me
I do too.
personally.
Do you already
but
have
what
a
about you
dress?
guys?
Do you already have a
Did you have a
dress?
dress?
Yeah, okay, so
Tell us all.
kind of. So I ordered a dress. And it was supposed to ship in 6 to 8 weeks and it hasn't shipped yet. And so I'm a little like stressed out about it. And I'm like emailed them and I was like, hey, where's my dress? Because if it doesn't fit, I'm not going to have time to order a different size
Yeah.
because they have the 6 to 8 week
Yeah.
period. So I'm looking at backups right now just in case. But I did order a dress.
Cool. We hope it comes in time. Come on.
excited. I'm excited to do the dress shopping. I haven't bought a fancy dress for a very long time, so I'm actually extremely excited.
It's been so long. I actually went through. I'm like a low key hoarder. Okay, I'm saying low key because I still have like all my dresses from dances that I went to in high school, and I forgot that I had them. This is why I say low key. It's because I forgot they were there, and then I pulled them out, and I was like, "Oh, I still have that." Oh, why did
Well,
I
I'm glad
need
you can
this?
still fit into yours. So
This is a newer
good for you.
development.
Good for you. Okay.
Newer
Good for
development.
you.
All right. Back on track to the Q&A. The other question that was asked is pertaining to the evening events. And what part of the... Oh, that's the wrong thing. I hit the wrong one. I clicked this
That's
one.
okay. We got that one.
There we go. Are the after events included in the regular ticket, or are those
Good
add-ons?
question. Good question.
That is a really good question. So the way that I tiered the ticket system is the more you spend, the more you get. So I really struggled with pricing on this. I'm not going to lie. I went back and forth about how to do the tickets for like a few weeks. So you have your single day market options. So you have Friday or Saturday single day, and that's just going to be the market. You have the double day market. And then you have the Friday night that comes with both of the market days, and then the Friday evening event, and then the ball comes with everything.
Cool.
So it's like an extra layer the higher tier you go. And then the VIP comes with everything plus bonuses, obviously. But so quick answer, no, I guess. The regular tickets do not include the evening events. They are extra, but it's just a tiered system.
Which is actually, when I looked at your tiered system, it is laid out very, very well.
Oh, I thought it
And
was
think
too.
it's
When I looked at it, I
fantastic.
knew exactly what I was getting for what I was paying for. So
Thank
it's
you.
like
it was a lot.
it's
a
like
lot of work there.
it's like, well, some people don't want the extra stuff either. Like some people just want to go and just be a part of whatever is happening for that day and then be done. I mean, especially like if you got some of those local people who are like, an hour, even 2 hours away, they're just like, oh, we're just going to go for the day and enjoy it, and we don't need all the other stuff. But then you have some people who are going to make it like their weekend, right? Like they're literally going to like plan it and make it like an event. Like they're going to make it like something to go to, you know what I mean? So you're going to have all those different kinds of people, and some people can only afford certain things. So
right. Yeah. And I wanted it to be affordable for all different people. So like, I know that balls are really expensive. Ours is $300, but that comes with the ball, the fair, and both of the market days. So I tried to like make what you're getting for the price worth it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not trying, okay, when I say this, I'm not trying to talk shit about other companies at all.
Yeah.
But I've seen other balls where it's like $300 and it's just the ball.
Yeah.
And so, that's where I like justify to myself, like, no, your pricing is good.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put that too, is to make sure that gets like, I was going to say encompass, but that was the wrong word. Combined.
I get what you're going for.
Yeah. Not what I was putting
Well, it sounds like you've gone to a few though. So it sounds like you've gone to a few, so like you're able to actually kind of like, I mean, the hardest part is if like you hadn't gone to anything, right? And you're like, how do I make this? You have like no frame of reference for it. But it sounds like you've been to a few, and so you kind of have a good idea of like a frame of reference for like what you're providing for the money.
Yeah. And I still want to go, like, continue going to other ones, because there's going to be authors that like I don't have that other people do, and there's going to be, just like unique things about every event. And I truly believe like the more the merrier. I want an event every month if I could. I can afford it, but I would love to be able to. And I think that's what kind of prompted me to move around, is so that there's more opportunities.
Yeah. No, I love that. All right. Our next question is, if you could host a book event in any fictional world, where would it be and why?
Ooh. Okay, my first like knee jerk is Valaris, just because of how beautiful it is.
Totally. Oh.
And I feel like especially in that area, people would appreciate books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
I like that. That's a really good answer.
Yeah,
solid answer.
I would attend it.
Yeah,
I would attend that one.
I know. In the mountain. Okay, that's not Valaris, but
under the mountain.
Still.
I don't want to be under the mountain.
Pardon me.
We can make it work.
Under the mountain.
Yeah.
It'll be really nice.
I can't help myself. I get like really tempted by some of those like dark, like gothic-y vibes. Like I can't. That's like my jam. I really like that. Like, have you read Anathema?
No, I haven't. It's on my list.
Oh, it's on my list too.
It's like the perfect gothy, like dark vibe that I'm just like here for that. Like if I had to be like, what book is your vibe? I'm like, Anathema? That's
There's
my vibe.
There's a lot of like gothic literature coming up right now in the fantasy world.
I'm excited for it.
I'm loving it.
Love it. I'm kind of like, I love a good fantasy, but man, sometimes you can kind of like help. It's like if you can balance out that like fantasy element with the kind of that dark gothic-y vibe, like that's like, I mean, that's like, I just thought of a good one that's kind of like that, is like, Van Helsing. It kind of like balanced that like dark vampire-y, but then it was like fantasy at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just really loved like that mix. Oh,
that and like Constantine.
You're fine. Yeah, like Constantine. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fantastic. I loved Constantine.
Yeah.
All right. What is the wildest thing that has happened behind the scenes of your event or podcast?
Ooh. I've kind of said this, but honestly, I think just getting responses directly from authors. When like I get that email and it's like from so-and-so, and I was like, what?
You responded?
Okay. Yeah. I think that, I mean, it's not like crazy or wild, but it's the most surprising to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm pretty boring.
Yeah. I love it though, because it's true. Like getting those answers back. It's true.
Mhm.
I think I'm pretty boring.
I
But
did have, when I was at the Ren Fair, I had somebody come up to me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, hi, it's so nice to meet you. Like, I'm so and so." And she introduced herself to me. And I was like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Brie." And she goes, "Oh, I know who you are." And I'm like,
Oh my God, I love
"Okay,
that.
thank you."
okay.
Hey,
At first,
thank you
I
so
think at first I'd be
much.
like, what? And then
Yeah.
after that, I'd be like,
You're like, that's great.
okay.
You're like, that's great. Do you want to be friends?
I know. Okay,
Right?
let's be friends.
No, it was
friends.
amazing. It was so nice. I was like, "This is awesome."
I love it. Next is, what's the wildest thing that has happened? Oh, nope, that's a lie. I lied.
Wrong one.
Wrong one. Abort mission.
Had to throw us all off here.
It's fine. I have done
Come
this.
on, Annie.
How much? Ugh. Okay. She threw me off in the beginning of our next
Wait,
soap.
no, we're getting drinks now. Hang on.
Oh.
Everyone
sip.
hydrate.
Okay. Drink break.
This is your hydration moment. There you go.
Okay.
We should
Ready?
put that in as a blooper.
I know.
Okay. Next question. What's one bookish hill that you will die on? Example is like you think that dog earing pages is a crime, which I 1000% agree.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I would also say it's okay to DNF.
Yes.
When I was younger, I was like, "No, you have to finish it. Like, don't be a quitter. Like, what if it gets really good at the end? If it's at
Totally.
the end, that's too long. It took too long."
This is a new hill that I'm learning to live on.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe not die on, but
I
I'm
know.
living on it.
It took me a while to
I
get
have
there.
a
I'm not gonna lie.
50% rule.
If you're not
Oh,
enjoying
okay.
it by 50%, you can be
Because there's
done.
a piece of you that's like, it's going to get better. It's going to get, like, you, it's like, no, it's probably just slow, right? You're like, the beginning's just slow. And then you're like, it's going to get better. And it's going to get better. And then you're like, by 50%, I'm like, it's not done. It's like, it's out. Like,
It's
I
not
don't
getting
have,
better. We're done.
there's too many other good books out there to like move on.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
give it a third.
I like
because I'm
that.
really
Okay.
impatient.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I
okay
can
with
give
that.
it 50%, but if it takes me forever to get to 50%, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I really am like, I'm kind of picky. Like, if we're getting down to like the nitty gritty of it, like, I really think there should be like a hook within the first like 3 chapters. Like, if you don't have a hook in your book by the first 3 chapters, like, what am I doing here? Like, you got to hook me. And it's like you're an author. Like, this is your job. Like, you got to hook me and keep me. Like, that's part of it's part of, the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Well,
and like we were saying at the beginning, though, like, not everyone's gonna like it, and that's okay.
True.
Like, it doesn't mean it's for me, but other people can still love it.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
Fine.
We used to be anti-annotating so hardcore until we tried it just recently, and now we're both like, okay,
I like actually
like it.
Took a highlighter to a book.
It was so weird.
It was the most freeing experience I've ever had in my life.
It was not for me. We had different
I've done like the little tabs.
Yeah.
But the only book I've written in was I got an ARC that I knew I was also gonna get like hardcover copies of, and so I did write in the ARC. But that's it. That's the only book I've ever written in.
What did you think though? Were you like, this is wrong? You're like, right? This is wrong. I should not be doing this.
At first I was, and I was like, oh, this book is fine. I can write in this one. But like, if I like a regular book that I buy from, like Barnes Noble or, directly from the author, if it's signed by the author, I won't touch it.
Oh, absolutely not.
No, I agree.
Absolutely not.
Hands down, I agree.
Yeah.
I did it.
I'm not tabbing a special edition either.
Copy.
Yeah.
No. But man, taking that highlighter was like, and then I just kept going. I'm like, this is amazing.
I see those videos of people like breaking the spine to like throwing a book in the pool, and I was like, how can you?
Couldn't.
Oh my God.
There's no
the
way.
other day I went to Barnes and Noble. I had this book in my arms, carried it around for 10 minutes, and I was like, maybe I don't need this. Put it back on the shelf, and it fell. I ripped that sucker, like the back and the whole, it just ripped. Like, so I obviously bought it because I messed it up. But it was the cringiest thing it's probably one of the cringiest things of a book I've ever done. I was like, I just ripped that whole book apart. I will purchase this gladly. I will buy this, but it's beautiful. So, and I can take it and you don't even know, but oh my God, it was so cringy.
Not until you open the back cover.
Like right down it was so bad. Even when I have pictures of it and I'm like, look what I did to this book. I cringe every time I see it. It was so bad.
I was at Barnes & Noble and I like ran into the table. You know, they have like the stacks on the tables. And my sister was with me and she swears to God, I said, oh my goodness, in like a Snow White voice. And so she makes fun of me all the time because she's like, oh my goodness. And I was like, I didn't do that.
That is sister love all the way to the core.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's constant. She's just like, oh my goodness. She does the hands too. And I was like, stop it.
I may do that too when I see you next.
No, it's totally fine.
It's free.
It's catching on.
I just put it out there for the world.
It may
so
catch
that's my
on.
own fault.
You did. Now
it may catch
you
on.
need to have a shirt that's just for you that says, "Oh my goodness," and it's got like Snow White holding like a bird or something. Yes. Yeah. I feel as if that's a good one. Something that will come to fruition one day.
That is a good one.
Yeah,
I love it.
We'll make it happen.
I love it.
Okay, I like it.
Well, Bri, we are so excited for your event. We're excited for what's to come in your podcast. Where can people find you on social media to connect?
So the event, my main spot for posting is Instagram at Tea Tropes Events. Mm-hmm. And then the podcast is Tea Tropes Pod. And that's the same on TikTok as well. But like I said, I suck at TikTok. And then the podcast is literally anywhere that podcasts are. Spotify is my main go-to, but that's just personal. Me.
Love it. Yeah. Well, perfect. We will have all those locations linked down below in the show notes. And Bri, thank you so much for coming on with us today. We are so excited to see where this all goes in the future, and so excited for this event you have coming up.
Way fun.
Thank you so much. I am too.